everyone, and welcome to FirstImpress Global, the platform where we explore the world of boutique hospitality, digital storytelling, and hotel leadership through conversations with professionals shaping the future of travel. I'm your host, Ali Beck, and today I'm honored to be joined by a dynamic hospitality executive whose leadership spans across iconic hotel brands across Asia and beyond, including Sofitel and Pullman under the Accor group. Currently serving as the general manager at Sofitel Shanghai, he leads with a focus on commercial impact, lifestyle trends, and revenue generation, while also contributing to global brand strategy through his work with the La Maison and GM advisory boards. With over 6 years of general manager experience, he brings both vision and operational excellence to the table. In this episode, we'll explore his career journey, hospitality branding, and hotels' online presence. So whether you're a hospitality student, a curious traveler, or someone who's passionate about the future of hospitality, I think you're going to find this episode really inspiring. So let's get started. Welcome, Stefan. It's a big honor having you here today.
Thank you, Ali Beg.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. So as we start, could you please walk us through your career journey from the early days up until now? Yes.
In the early days, I started my journey in the kitchen. I started off as a chef, being certified by the Chamber of Commerce in Germany, and then traveled through various countries in Europe and across the ocean on a cruise ship to really gain some experience in the culinary field as well as in the hospitality sector. And then I landed back in Switzerland at one of the famous properties, the Badrus Palace, where I led the F&B department, and then moved to the Middle East, which brings me now back to China, where I've been here now the last 15 years.
Interesting. So moving on to the leadership and the growth of the hotels. From your long experience at Pullman and Sofitel and other hotels that you've worked at, what were some of the most challenging yet rewarding strategic decisions that you made when working in a managerial position at these hotels?
The challenging decision is that you always have to weigh in the entire factors that come up with the obstacles so that the challenge at hand, and you're trying to do fact-based decision with the most information that you have at hand. We're doing decision making very fast, very quick, and therefore a broad horizon experience as well as a depth of information is always the pool on making the best decisions. Sometimes they're not in favor for one or the other, but as a hotelier, the focus is always the guest. Therefore, we do focus really on guest experience decision, guest-centered decisions. They're not most profitable right away, but in the long term, they're really the best decisions. And therefore, they're sometimes not easy decision to make, but they are definitely shaping you as a hotelier.
Interesting. And my next question was, when you're newly appointed to a property, what are some of the first things you evaluate? What are some of the first things you look at, and why when you are appointed to a new property?
When you're appointed to a property, you mostly know already what is the background, what is the structure of the building, where is it located, the brand, and so forth. What is really important is what is the team like? And so you step into the hotel and you observe in the first 30, 90 days, how's the team dynamic, how's the team evaluating. And then you're trying to work with the team together to make a strategy and revenue decisions that really make a difference in the future. Because when you're appointed as a general manager, it's always about the long-term vision of the property and the owning companies that you're really trying to foresee. And of course, that will then shape later into revenue streams and profitability. Therefore, it's very important to work with the team together, tailor the strategies and focus on some of the product development or fine-tune them towards luxury aspects.
Interesting. So, okay, this is like one of my favorite topics, like the hospitality branding and building an experience that guests actually remember, guests that actually, and things that guests actually value. So you've been part of shaping brand service standards globally, right? What makes a guest experience truly memorable today, especially in luxury hospitality, from the moment that they arrive to the moment that they leave, and the reputation that it leaves on a property or a hotel, would you say?
I think is you're trying to personalize the experience. That's the first thing. Number two is you're trying to really live the brand from the guest point of view. And therefore, when we work in at Sofitel, we're trying to rehabilitate the French culture, looking at our heritage and what that actually means, La Maison de Sofitel, the house of Sofitel. And you're trying to embrace that from the moment that the customer makes the booking online to the arrival of the hotel, to the first step in the lobby with the smell, the scents, the flower arrangements, the greetings, the uniforms. They are a real a sensory experience that you're trying to embrace. And so you're going through the circle of the guest journey and you make sure that all the touch points are really a memorable moment.
Interesting. I like this. Okay, so now moving on to the topic of hotels' online impressions and hotels' digital presence and the aspect of like online user experience. In your view, what creates a strong like first impression when someone lands on a hotel's website, and how can that experience of the hotel's online presence shape people's perceptions of a hotel property of or the experience that they will have at your property?
It has to be clean, has to be simple but user friendly. In the same time, it has to be fast. So you don't want to wait for pictures to load. There has to be a seamless uh, performance of the web page. And therefore, you shouldn't overload it with content. You should really focus on the message that you're trying to bring across.
Mhm.
Um, Therefore, it's very important to have certain categories built in for the web page, for landing pages. Is it mobile or is it a PC or is it an iPad? To really focus on the guest experience and the journey for the customer to guide them through the booking performance, the booking pace. Because eventually, what you would like to do is the guest lands on your web page, and then you convert that into a booking or into a restaurant reservation. It's not only that people get the views or get the visibility. What you're really trying to do is get exposure, visibility, conversion, revenue stream.
Got it. Yeah. Um, so now that we're nearing the end of my questions and what I had to ask you, what skills, this is more of a practical question than working in hospitality. What skills or habits should young people start developing now if they dream of managing a luxury property one day? And what is something you wish you knew when you started pursuing a career in hospitality that would in turn help you today if you know, knew those things?
When I was starting the hospitality field, it was a skill-driven environment, and it was pretty much that you came through the ranks to work up. And over the last 30 years, it has changed. You have a lot of uh, person managers that have cross entries. So it's not anymore important only to have in skill focus. Of course, some of the jobs like a chef, like IT, you need to have a certain amount of skill set to perform that. But in the hospitality industry, especially in the hotel, what is really important, what has changed over the last generation and decades, is more and more value has been placed on the emotional intelligence, on how to engage with the customers, how to lead your team, how to engage with the team. Because if you don't have emotional intelligence, then you will not be able to understand what certain factors weigh in when you make a decision. And you might damage the brand or damage the operation further than if you would really have an emotional aspect to your decision making.
Interesting. And I really agree with that topic. I think shaping people's.
How certain departments work together, how certain connections and operations work. But I think the emotional intelligence on certain aspects in the operation is important, because you take care of your team, the team will take care of the customer eventually.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's an emotional moment. And when people go to F&B, or when people arrive at the hotel, they want to see a smile, they want to see a laugh, they want to feel being greeted. And this starts when you as a GM greet your own team and welcome your team and show that emotional intelligence and the connection with your team members. Work together in the busy times, in the tough times, and then you bind a bond with your teams and with your guests.
Yeah, I agree. Because just to add this on to the comments of my show, this episode, I actually worked in Swiss Hotel, if you know this, because it's under Accor, right? I worked in Swiss Hotel this summer, and our general manager was someone that was always far away from the team. He wasn't really attached, but from what I'm seeing with you is that you're very close to the team, and I agree with you saying that it's very, very important to connect with the team and as a general manager, show them that you actually value them as opposed to just being a figure there that actually overlooks the property, right? So I really, really, from my experience, agree with what you're saying about this aspect.
What general manager is, I'm living the hotel. That means you be in the lobby, you connect to the guests, you see the challenges that your team is facing. If it be the PC too slow, or the Wi-Fi is not working, or there's some struggle with the offloading of the luggage, then you can make right away decisions on site with the customers to show that you care, that you show that you're there. You cannot, as Ed Fuller, my ex-married president, always said, you cannot manage the hotel with your feet on the desk. It's
Yeah,
impossible.
yeah,
Be on, need to be in the lobby, in the F&B outlets, and only then you will really understand what it feels like to run a hotel, to run an operation, and to be a hotelier.
I agree. Yeah. And so moving on from this question into something that actually relates to this, this will be my last question to you, and it's very like specific, and I want to have your stance on this. What advice do you have for students who want to study hospitality management abroad in universities or applying to international universities studying this field like hotel administration, hospitality management, or something along these lines? What advice do you have, and what perspectives can you share with them who actually want to study this field in university?
Very at most, dream big. That's the first thing. Dream big. Okay. Don't sell yourself short. Second, uh, once you have the dream in place, make yourself a timeline. Be realistic. Smart goal setting. KPIs are the most important part for that dream to become true. Because if you set yourself a proper target to be GM in a five-star hotel, then you can say, okay, how long it will take me to get there? What do I need to do? So you can eventually break that down in smaller steps. And then you will see which road you need to take to get there. International exposure is always welcome, because it gives you exposure to different cultures, different nationalities. The learning curve is far faster than if you be only exposed in your own small circle or a small um, environment, let's say like that. Therefore, international exposure, if it be an internship or a university or a degree, that is all welcome, because the variety of experiences that you will gain through your years in the early stages of your career will shape you as a hotelier. Yeah. And therefore, I would advise everybody who is from Europe to go overseas, be it the Middle East, be it in Asia, the same. whoever grows up in the Middle East and Asia, come back to Europe and see what's the difference and how hospitality is shaped in contrast to your own culture. Because me, from my side, now working on 4 different continents, I can see the difference in culture, in hospitality approach between Asia and Europe. And it's not so much different when it comes to service orientation. It's just the approach is a bit different. But they all have one thing in common: consistency and discipline. And that is something that the team, the younger generation, needs to learn. Nothing is handed for free. You have to earn your mark. And that means sometimes hard hours, learning curve. We will make mistakes, which is okay. One mistake is fine. Second time, improve, move on. We fail once and we improve and we learn from our mistakes. And that's the real message here. You need to make that mistakes to improve. Sometimes you have to burn your hand on the stove to understand it's hot in that sense, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And actually, just to share with you, I actually want to go into hospitality management as a degree. So I'm applying to Cornell, Cornell's hotel administration school in the US. And so that's like my biggest dream to study there. So I'm applying actually this in like a week. I'm applying there and I'll get my decision in like December or so. So
That's good.
yeah,
I myself did my master's in the hospitality industry at Johnson Wales University in Providence, Rhode Island. And so I do encourage that definitely to do hospital management with Cornell or Johnson Wales University or even a European school. The point here is the university will give you an approach on the theory and the transition into practice. There's one of the things that you will see when you go through that university degree, that year in university. How do you transition that theoretical knowledge into actually practical decision making, and how to write a business plan, how to execute a summary, a marketing plan, because eventually it should generate revenue. It's not only a paper that you give to the professor. Eventually, in the future, that business plan that you generate will create money and revenue and profitability, and therefore, it's really how do you transition from that? That is the real key message that you should really bring with you.
I agree. Well, Stefan, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your incredible journey and insights. It's been a privilege to learn from your experience and your perspectives. And I know that our listeners will walk away with a deeper appreciation for what hospitality actually is. If you're a student, aspiring hotelier, or someone who loves great hospitality, don't forget to follow FirstImpress Global for more interviews and stories from the world of travel. I'm Alibek, and until then, keep dreaming, keep learning, and keep exploring. And never underestimate the power of first impression.